class. But I'm ready for us to get started, and I'm going to turn on my video. So I'll turn on my video for the sake of introducing myself, so that you can at least see my face for once, because I will not be turning on my video most of the time during class. So my name is Mercy Obado. I'm your course instructor for IT and Business Law. For your case, it's Computing and Business Law, though you're covering the same content as IT and Business Law. So what else do I need to say about myself? I am an advocate by profession. I have practiced law now for 7 years. I was admitted to the bar on the 12th of November 2012. So when the 12th of November reaches, that will mark my 8th year of being an advocate. So it is I was just telling my morning class about that, you know, it really shows you how slowly, because it's 2012 seems like yesterday, but time really flies. I am a part-time lecturer. So I teach on a part-time basis in Strathmore University. Most of the time I teach law courses. I have taught IT and business law for some time now, to many groups of students, and then I also teach other legal courses, and also I do other things in the meantime. So that's me, of course. Class, tell you I am having another class, but in that class I am not a student. I am a teacher, a student. Just check my internet connection. I'm getting a message here that my internet connection is weak. Okay, sorry for that. So that is all about me introducing myself. I'm a part-time lecturer. What else that I was saying? IT and business law is a very interesting subject to learn. I'm going to introduce, today we are just doing orientation to the course. Next Monday, most likely we'll also start the class at 2:30 and finish at 5:30, because I have this class that I'm telling you about. I'm currently learning, we are all students of life here. You're always learning something. What I'm currently learning is I'm learning German. So I'm trying to switch my mind from one language to the other. I don't know how that works. Yeah, so so that's me. I have a class. Though those classes should end by end of this month. So by end of this month, we can even start our class earlier if possible and finish early before late evening. Um, hmm, Next. So I'm going to introduce you to the course. I'm going to take you through the outline. You are so many of you. One of the reasons I like teaching IT and business law is because I always get very small classes, and I get to know my students, and I get to. It's very interesting when you teach a class of 40 students, you know each one of them, you know their names, when they come late, when they don't come to class, you're aware. However, when you're teaching online and you're teaching 100 plus students, it becomes very difficult to. Oh, to make a size. Okay. It becomes very difficult to interact with students when there's so many in an online platform. If I was to give all of you a chance to, and you keep increasing, now you're 94. If I was to give you all a chance to introduce yourselves, you can imagine it will take us the whole 3 hours of class. But what I'm going to do, at least in the course of the class, I will always have a group tell us how they are. I'll find a way. I'll take your class list. Maybe on one class, I can start with those with surnames that start with an A, B, C, D, so that everyone can always get to speak, say something small before our class today. So today I'm going to choose people at random to just say hi. I want to understand who your module leaders are. I think I'm teaching 3 groups here, 3 in 1. I'm teaching ICS, I'm teaching ICSA, B, BTC. That's my understanding, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. So I want someone, at least your module leaders, to speak, to tell me how they're doing, whether they can hear me, whether I'm audible enough, and then we can start with the orientation of the class. So the module leaders, please, who are the module leaders or the class representatives for the respective classes? Rebecca, please greet us, Rebecca, and tell me whether I'm audible. And then Odiero, after Rebecca, we'll have Odiero, Roseanne. Thank you.
Hi,
Who else?
this is
Rose.
Rebecca.
Okay.
So I'm in group 4A. Um, I'm really excited to have this class. So far you've been audible, so yeah,
Oh, and how are you doing, Rebecca? Where are you joining us from?
I'm good. Joining from Nairobi.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. And
and yeah, I really am excited. Sorry.
what have you been up to since Corona started?
I've just been trying to learn new skills and polishing up my coding skills and doing assignments. Yeah, basically just trying to pass the time.
Okay. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. There's something else you're going to say before I cut you short. I'm always cutting people short.
it's okay.
Uh, okay, Rebecca. Why are you excited to have this class, Rebecca? Hebu niambie hapo kwanza. Why are you excited to have the class?
Sorry.
Why are you
Sorry.
excited to have this class? Ama, you're always excited for all your classes. You're fired up for all of them. Mhm.
Specifically because it's to do with business law. I've never done a unit that has like law in it, so it's quite interesting. Usually most of the units tend to be technical, so it's quite different. So that's why I'm excited.
Okay, okay. So,
Yeah.
just so expectations and whether I'll be able to meet them. Thank you, Rebecca. Roseanne,
Hello.
hi.
Um, so my name is Roseanne Odiero. I'm the class rep for ICS 4B. Um,
Sorry. Go on.
I'm the class rep
Go
for
on,
ICS 4B, and I'm excited for this class because I'm excited about learning this course because um, I have so many friends who do law who educate me each and every time we talk about new things, and I actually find it quite interesting. So I'm actually quite excited to see what you have in store for us. And uh, what have I been doing during this Corona period? Mainly, I've just been doing schoolwork and um, growing myself. Yes.
Interesting. Thank you so much, Roseanne. Where are you joining from?
Um, home, Kiserian.
Okay. So you're just in Nairobi, Kiseri, and all those environs. Just consider them Nairobi. So thank you so much. Nice knowing Roseanne, and Roseanne and Rebecca. What about BTC? Don't we have a module leader for BTC? BTC?
Hello, it's me.
Or gift?
Yeah, but it's really raining at my place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't hear
Where
you,
are you?
Kabisa.
Where?
I'm
Oh,
in
you can't hear
Kisii.
me? Oh,
Yeah,
you're in Kisii.
yeah,
Sawa. I will try, and I have this device here that I sometimes use so that everyone can hear me. Let me just try it now and tell me how it is, if it's better. Can you hear me better now if I use the speaker?
yeah.
It's better.
Yes.
Okay. So how is Kisii?
It's raining. It's really raining.
From what time did it start raining? Does it rain every day?
Yeah, almost for this whole month. It's really been raining with a lot of thunderstorms and lightning. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, that's really nice. I remember reading a post from a friend of mine on Facebook. He had written that the way Kisii is known for healthy food. So everyone who comes to Nairobi and they're selling whatever. Oh, it's from Kisii. Oh, buy this. This is from Kisii. Buy like it has this reputation for very good food.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
All right. Thanks, gift. What have you been up to during this time of Corona?
Uh, what have I been up to? I was just enjoying my time at home.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and also, adding a bit of skill, working on my
Mm.
talent. Yeah,
Ah, what's your talent? I'm
baking.
curious.
Baking
Okay.
mostly. Yeah,
So you can bake very nice cakes.
yeah.
Ah, wonderful. I don't know. I don't ask me my talent, by the way. I think it takes time to discover. It's not singing. I'm not a singer. So thanks, gift. Gift, thank you so much. Then we can
Okay.
get started. At least we have had three of you for today. The next time we will have more people speak. I'm going to turn off my video, share my screen, take us through the outline, and just explain what to expect. But even before I share my screen and take you through the outline, what I'm going to do here is to share the whiteboard so that I can just have a breakdown of what you should be expecting. Okay, yeah. Why didn't I have whiteboard? Music or computer sound on desktop. For some reason, this app is not giving me the of sharing whiteboard. I wonder if it is something I didn't. Give me a moment. I'm just trying to think what is wrong. I'm so used to sharing the whiteboard, so I can't see the whiteboard. I'm not sure what the problem would be. That is only my desktop, iPhone, Google Chrome. Hmm. Files, share files, advanced. Okay. Mm, unfortunately, I'm not sure what is wrong, so we might not use or I'm already on the whiteboard. Uh, not quite. Or share screen. Right others. Okay. I can't see the whiteboard. We'll just go straight to save us on time because anyway, time is already running. Da-da. What is there? Okay. I was there in the morning because I had a class for IT and business law, so I'll just pick up from there and continue. Your course is titled Computing and Business Law, but I teach it. I teach you one content. I teach you one content to those who are doing BBIT. So the people doing BBIT, the course is titled for them IT Business Law. I will try and accommodate you by, of course, you're already accommodated. Computing, computer information technology, they all go to. They have a close relationship. Maybe very few nuances as far as differences are concerned. So. However, maybe the only way I can accommodate you so that you can feel, oh, okay, even on maybe to have a title of computing and business law as well, so that it's clear. But you'll be covering the same content. This is the course outline. I'm going to take you through it very quickly, not very quickly, but we'll just take our time and orient ourselves to the course. Mm. All right, sorry. That is something that happens when you're teaching from home. You have to attend to my children here, and I also have to be in class. So don't worry, they'll be just part of the class. You'll hear them talking a lot in the background and disrupting the class. I should have introduced them as well as. as tutors in this class. The title of the course is Information Technology and Business Law, but don't feel left out. What I should do is to revise this course outline so that I have Information Technology and Business Law slash Computing Law so that you can see clearly that you've been factored into the development and design of the course. The unit of the course, again, my apologies, I'm using the unit for IT and business, BBIT group. I don't know if your Nini is the same. I don't know if your code is the same, but that's something I can revise in a short time. I've already introduced myself, Mercy Obado. I am an advocate. I'm a part-time lecturer with Strathmore, and that's why I'm teaching your class today. My official sitting area is STM building, fourth floor. Although on a normal day in the university, you'll not find me in STM fourth floor. You'll find me in MSB basement. I like sitting at the basement because just the basement. My email address are those ones. You can see them there on the screen. emobado@strathmore.edu. That's my email address. Consultation hours that applied in the previous semester, but for now, you're free to consult with me anytime. I will encourage you to write me an email whenever you have an inquiry. Write an email. I don't expect your emails now. Okay. In fact, in the first month, no students write to you an email. Until 2 days before the exam is when a floodgate of emails come. Attendance, cut, everything. Everyone is trying to do everything at the same time. So, but please do consult with me whenever you wish to. Don't wait until the tail end of the class. The aim of this course is to introduce you to the various branches of information technology slash computing law and business law. So we want to just give you an introductory aspect to all that. I wish I could write. I'm going to stop sharing again so that I can see if I can. I see if I can get the white screen going. I wonder if it has to do with the setting. I'm so sorry. I'm one of those people when I have a problem, I just try and solve it. Let me see. Let me ask Google. Does anyone have an idea what I should do? Why? White. Give me a quick minute. I troubleshoot. Mm. Mm-hmm. All right, I think I'll troubleshoot later. Sorry for doing this during your class. I'm just trying to, it's so convenient. I can't imagine I can't use it. It's such, that's why I choose Zoom over Google Meet because at least Zoom has a whiteboard. So if they no longer have a whiteboard, they should tell us. If you're on a person, oh my dear. Anyway, I will troubleshoot later, and all of you should help me. Aren't you the computing students and you're almost graduating? I want the class to find a solution for me. I'm not able to share my whiteboard. I'm not sure why. I wonder if it is in the. Okay, anyway, I'll troubleshoot later. For now, I'll have to stay without a whiteboard. Okay, I will write in the chat then. Let's do the chat. Oops. Okay. It may not be enabled. Um,
Uh, Hello.
Yes, Isaac.
Oh, okay. When you click on share your screen, can you see the option there?
No, when I click on share my screen, the options I can see are these ones. Let me just tell you as I try to share. I can only see desktop. In fact, they've even reduced. I can see my desktop and iPhones, iPad via AirPlay, iPhone, iPad via cable. That's what I can see. 3. I used to see like 5.
Okay, just a moment. I was trying to like see what you're seeing, and then I can try and help from there.
Oh, because if I share, yeah, I can take a screenshot and send you. Oh my dear, does someone take a screenshot? Oh. Shift. Isaac, we can work together during the break so that I can see what to do about it. But for now, let's just, because of time, it's already 3. Therefore, let me continue. Oh, I wanted to shut enable annotation tools. Oh, okay. Sawa. And if I was to enable, do I enable in the account?
Yeah, I think it should be enabled for this account. So I think the issue might be probably this particular host doesn't have it enabled.
Oh yeah. Sawa. That should be it. Like in Sawa, we'll do the chat for now because going back will mean I have to end the class. Share your screen. You just put your share. No, I was going to share. I was going to share the. I don't have an app for the whiteboard. I'm just sharing the whiteboard via the Zoom account. Yeah, but no worries. We can improvise for now. I'll enable it. Even me, I'm so sure it must be something to do with the account, not even. I will share the document. I know what I can do to better have you see what I'm writing. I will share my screen and then I can share screen. So I'll write here. I'll write on a Word document. That's the improvisation I'll make. So we're just talking about the content you're going to cover. Let me write on big font using big fonts. So the content for IT and business law / computing law for your case is divided into. We have 3 parts of the course. The content is in 3 parts. Yeah. The first part is business law. And remember, these areas of law are closely intertwined. So they're intricate, they are closely intertwined. So you cannot really separate one area of the law from the other. But I'm just trying to package it so that it's easier for you to see where we are going as we start and as we progress on. So the part which covers business law, which is quite diverse, we're going to look mostly at a topic known as the law of contract. When it comes to law of contract, matters contracts are very important. Matters contracts are very, very important in business. In fact, we usually say that the law of contract is at the heart of business law. Most of the time, when you're buying, when you're selling, offering a service for payment, for profit, it entails an agreement. You enter into an agreement. For example, if I go to the shop now and I order for bread, that is an offer. I've made an offer. And if the shopkeeper accepts my offer and gives me bread, I cannot just walk away and come back to the house and eat the bread and forget about it. I have to pay for it. So that's the kind of relationship that is everywhere in commercial transactions. It's a contractual relationship. So we're going to take time to learn about the law of contract. It's a very important topic. Then the second topic under business, and also it's also applicable to IT. There's IT, there's contracting in IT, there's tort in IT. So the other one will be tort law, not even the law tort law. Tort law is an important area of the law because it helps you understand the most common way that people are sued. If we go to court today, 3/4 of the cases that the court will hear will lie on the law of tort. This is where you have cases to do with negligence. You have cases to do with defamation. You have cases to do with trespass to property, um, harassment. So it's a wide area, and there are many areas of law. Why do we teach it to our law students? Law students usually taught, uh, not law students per se, but why do we teach it to you and even law students so that you can know how to cushion yourself from legal suits? Whenever you run a business and your business is doing so well, one of those things you think about is a cover, an insurance cover. You want to take a cover against fire, against theft. But what about a cover against a legal suit, a lawsuit? A lawsuit can also bring down a business. It is possible because you can find that when you're sued in court and the court gives an award, for example, you have a business car, you're operating an Uber. Your Uber unfortunately knocks down a pedestrian. The pedestrian sues you for the tort of negligence. Finally, the case is heard and they're told that you should compensate them and pay them uh, 500,000 or 2 million for the losses they have suffered because of that accident. Your car itself is worth 500,000. You see, that is enough to ruin your business because even before you can claim, you can pay this claim, it takes away your car and everything else. And most of the time, the insurance cover we take are very shallow, they don't cover much. So that is tort law for you. You're trying to learn how can I cushion myself from any kind of how can I cushion myself from lawsuits. You never want to be sued. I'm a lawyer myself, truth be told. But and I have had cases where I really feel like my rights have been violated. But they say be careful before you take someone to court. You know, going to court to litigate should be the last resort. I'm a lawyer, and there are times when I've been employed and I felt that my employment rights have been infringed. And I know clearly what the law says, but I have to weigh, do I really want to take my employer to court? Or do I want to take this person to court? Because it has, when you go to litigation, it has a way of severing relationships and things like that. It is very adversarial. So those are the dynamics you want to understand when it comes to a lawsuit. So the law of contract, tort law, then we'll be looking at the law of business associations. When it comes to the law of business associations, what happens is this. We have so many businesses we can start. Not even businesses, leave alone the business idea itself and the business idea, proposal and the project they're taking. But there are many vehicles you can use to run your business. Okay, with time, people have become very ingenious. I hope I'm using that word rightly. And they can start the most common type of business we know of is a sole trader. Yeah? We know of Mama Mboga, who makes a lot of money, by the way. We know of our saloonist or barber. They run their business as a sole trader. Or we call it sole proprietorship. You don't need to go and register. All you need to do is maybe get permits from government, but you don't have to be lawfully registered. A sole tradership as a business is one and the same with the owner. Then we come to this other side of nowadays, how people always, I wonder how, it's interesting to see how people carry that word, I own a company, I run a company. It was a big word when someone tells you they own a company. You look at them twice like, oh, you own a company. I am the director of a certain company. You're the director of a company. So it's a big word when people throw it around, company. Okay? If you were watching cartoon, the dollar sign could form in our eyes because whenever you hear of a company and someone owning a company and director of a company and being a shareholder of a company, you just that dollar sign forms in your eyes. You're like, ha, du hast Geld, you have money. So yeah, companies we're going to, but that is not the case. Most of the companies are empty shell companies and they don't do any business. So within companies, there are many types of companies. You can break them down to various types. We have private companies. We have public companies, we have limited liability, limited liability. And then you go on and on and on and on and on. So that's another type of business. We have partnerships as well. Someone can decide, you know what, I'm going to run my business as a partnership. I tell you, what do I have his number? There's a student I taught business, IT and business law. Okay, let me see. What was he called? David. IT. I have to look for that student of mine to come and make a presentation in class during this corona crisis. Okay. Let's see. I meet him so much. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, Brian. Sorry. I'm going to invite him to come and so you can. Sorry. Hello. Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Brian.
Hi.
I want to. Sorry, I might have. Right. So I'll look for him. That was not him. So why am he came to mind because he's one of those students who I have seen run his own business. He graduated and he started his business. He started business, and I meet him so many times because he has his office in South B and I live in South B, so we usually cross paths. And every time I have to ask him, and he tells me how he's doing. So it will be good for you to know. For him, I remember he started as a partnership, so I just know his story. It's unfortunate that now his name has disappeared, but it will come. So even when it comes to when you did for him, I remember he told me he started a partnership with a friend after they graduated, but they of course later separated, as it happens most times. So partnerships in their own can be used as a vehicle to run your business. It has its advantages, disadvantages, which I will not go into. Those ones you already learned in your school in your class for entrepreneurship. So for me, what I want you to get out of this discussion of partnership is to understand the types of partnerships we have. We have private partner. We have not private. We have general partnerships. There are three types. We have a limited partnership, and we have an LLP, which almost mimic a company, limited liability partnership. We want to understand the law so that in any case you want to start any type of any of these businesses, you can revert to the law and you can see what does the law says about my kind of business. So that's a partnership, general, limited, and an LLP. Then B, we have NGOs. Who told you cannot start an NGO? You can also start your own NGO. People have run successful NGOs. Red Cross, Save the Children, Save the Child, Save Women. What else? Oh, okay, where are they going? I always see these big NGOs that are very well known. So we have Red Cross, we have Save the Child, we have what is this one called? The one that had a scandal. We have oh no. Okay, I'm talking about the ones we have in legal. not even they were okay. Most of them, I don't know, maybe because I just know those ones. You know, when you know something and then you think it's the only things, but there are many more. Okay, so let's look at that. The top 10 influential NGOs. Clinton, Cure, Path, Mercy Corps. Series. I've never heard of that one. International Rescue Committee, IFA International, Partners in Health. So there are many well-known NGOs. Atas Diona is also children in this list, and I'm not seeing the rest, but I was giving you an example of the one I wanted to mention. But the bottom line is this: even you can start an NGO. You can decide, I'm going to start an NGO and we are going to help rural communities understand how best they can use information technology to grow their businesses. And you look for funding and you make a proposal and your NGO grows and it becomes one of the top 10 influential NGOs. So please don't think that you have to be Omutata. Okay, with all due, Omutata personally, he should stand for presidency. If you ask me, Omutata should stand for presidency and we should all vote for him. So you don't, because of the kind of, being his selflessness in trying to defend some of our rights. It's just that he can only do so much as an individual. But you can also start an NGO. An NGO nowadays have been rebranded in Kenya. We call them public benefit organizations. So how, if you want to, how do you, what law regulates? Who do you need to look to find those certifications? Universities. Have you read the story of Strathmore University? Personally, okay, I know I'm a part-time lecturer, but I always identify so much with Strathmore. I always read their stories. I read the communications. When they send those communications out, I want to know what's happening. Um, so we have no. But look at the story of Strathmore. Strathmore was started by individuals. Okay, it's a big university now. All of you guys, I know you're very you came to Strathmore for your own good reasons, and it was started by an individual, an idea. Someone sat somewhere and thought, you know what, I can start a university and I can start offering education. So I need to start a university. Even you can start a university and name it, find a name for it, and find people with same ideas, grow it. Say I want to start the first IT specialist university. It was just in my class today. There's one of my colleagues, my classmates, who was telling us about the university that he's planning to go and study in he's doing German for study purposes. So he was telling us about this university where he'll be studying. And the university. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Can you all hear me? There's one of you who has mentioned that my audio has a problem. Rebecca, can you still hear me clearly? Ama, you're losing me?
I can hear you clearly. Yeah.
Okay, Sawa. Please, in case you can't hear me, hit me on the chat. It might be that I've not placed my speakers correctly because now I'm using a speaker. I'm not using my computer. And sometimes when it drops and you're speaking away from it, someone cannot hear. I hope that is better. Amani, how is it now? Is it better, Amani? I hope it is. Probably you can't now hear me because you can't. So I was just saying you can start your university. You can start a university, and I was sharing with you this colleague of mine from who we are learning German with. We're learning German for various interests. So we are learning German for various interests. All right. So you can start your very own university. And we're being told about this university called Technical. Okay, sorry. There's this colleague of mine who has gotten an admission, and he'll be going to this university in German, which is the name of the university. Technische Universität München. Technische Universität München. So he'll be going to that university. Technische Universität. There are umlauts there, which I'm not putting. Universität München. So while he was just telling us about, because we were making presentations of what you want to do with your German language, and for him, he was making a presentation, he was telling us, oh, I'm going to the Technische Universität München, TUM. And I came to learn today that this is the best university in German. The teacher was telling us that this is one of the best universities. Like it's rating with the what do we call them? This 5 universities in US, Harvard. There's a name we use to describe them. The 5. The league. There's a they're called the what are they called?
Ivy League.
Yeah, thank you, Ivy League. Thank you so much. They rate together with the Ivy League. Asanteni sana. Oh, yeah, Ivy League. So this is the best one. And if you look at the university, most of the courses it offers, the ones you're studying, computing, engineering. So it's well known for such courses. So you can also, and this best university, even Akina Harvard, Oxford, they were started with people. The university didn't appear from anywhere. But of course, if you look at Oxford, Cambridge, most of their history lies in the church. Like they were started by the Catholic Church. They used to be monasteries. They have a close relationship, one with the Catholic, the other one with the Anglican Church. If you look at the history of the first university in Italy, that was started in 14 something hundreds, I can't pronounce it. You also find it has those histories. So even you as an individual, you can start a university. Okay, although universities are not run by individuals, you have to have a trustee, university council, and it has structures. So even in Kenya nowadays, we still have new universities coming up, private universities. It just depends what area of training you want to offer and what your vision for is. So how do you start a university if you want to? What is the law that regulates universities in general? And you can go on and on and on. You can start a society. You can start a cooperative society. We don't have, I can't mention one that I'm proud of, cooperative societies. And so cooperative societies are not the ones for saving. They're not circles, savings and credit cooperative societies. Cooperative societies, I'm talking about the Coffee Board of Kenya. I'm talking about, that's not even not a cooperative, but these cooperative societies that could help farmers come together and sell their produce at a better rate. They were formed with very good intentions. And if they could be run properly, farmers in Kenya will be so far, because you find that most of their farming produce, they have to sell them at a throwaway price some of the time, and sometimes they don't have the capability of even, for example, if you have a cow in Eldoret, where I was raised. So you have a cow in Eldoret, your cow gives you 10 liters of milk, or you have 2 or 3 or 5, but you can't process all this milk by yourself, so you have to sell that milk on that day. You don't even have a fridge where you can store that milk, so you have to be very creative on how you go about doing that. And the purpose of cooperative society was for them now to come together. If you bring all your milk together, you bring all your resources, maybe you can pasteurize it, maybe you can process it into cheese, and you can sell, and you can get higher returns. Because have you ever seen how much cheese is selling at? I have a taste for cheese. I know most people don't like cheese, but me, I have a, because of those bitter ones. I don't know. It's just Um, yeah, I have a taste for it. Though initially I didn't, truth be told. I didn't have a taste for cheese until one time when I went for a seminar. I had an opportunity to attend a seminar, and I was attending this seminar in Scotland. Then after the seminar, the way as we do our bashes is very different from how Europeans do their bash. Because for us, oh, you cook, there's chicken, there's chapati, there's nini nini, so you're really ready to eat. So there after the seminar, you're being told, oh, you can remain in the evening for some wine and cheese. I was like, Kai, really? Eh? The way I'm hungry, how am I going to feed on wine and cheese? And when you see the wines, there's many the wines have been poured into glasses, and the cheese are laid on a tray there, and you could find the cheese with bits like biscuits or berries, and you wonder. But when you eat them today, tomorrow you eat them, you get a hang of it. But if you come to the Kenyan market, please, when you go there, try and look at the cheese and how much they're being sold at. Very high prices. Look at the butter. Okay, I was just looking at the finest butter we have in Kenya from KCC. It's very expensive. You can only buy it at 800 for 1 kg of butter. Expensive. Then come to even sour milk. Sour milk is selling at a more expensive rate than fresh milk. But if these cooperative societies were really modeled and they were well, you can imagine how far farmers will be. You'll have your cheese and even import it and make more money instead of selling to Kenya's fresh milk, etc. So we have cooperative society. Let me not get carried away. I have a habit of getting carried away when I'm talking about something. But I'm just giving you law of business associations. There are so many business associations you can form, from the traditional ones that we know of. You can go all the way to cooperative societies. You can start a saving and credit. You can start microfinance. You can open a bank. You can open an insurance. And all you need to know is understand how they're regulated, have the idea, and what it takes to start them, what the law says. So that's the law of business association for you. We'll be doing that as presentations. I don't know how we'll go about it because there's so many students. Let me see how many you are now. Oh, and my computer is at 5%. My okay. At least now it's charging. Okay. So that is law, the side for law of business associations, which take us to the next part. The next part you're going to learn about is regulation of information technology. When it comes to regulation of information technology, what happens here is that you're going to learn the laws themselves that regulate information technology. For starters, um, information technology is that area of the law that has developed without clear legal rules to guide it. To be honest with you, legal rules, we always say that the law follows. Most things come up without the knowledge of the law, and then people is when they crumble together to try and regulate them. And there have been attempts in Kenya to regulate information technology. I remember even one time there was an attempt to enact at the Information Technology Practitioners Act. The things that happen in Kenya, tell you, they're very annoying. Because how can someone, and unfortunately, the way laws are made, they're not made for the interest of all Kenyans. One group lobbies for a particular law, and then the parliament follows in and wants to enact this law. And this law is being formed by lobby groups. So how can you form a law that is being driven by lobby groups and they have their own vested interest? So a lobby group tried to push a law in parliament to regulate. Let me share with you that. So you can see the problem we have here in Kenya. Okay, so where is that? There we go. We have this lobby group. Not information technology practitioners. So the Kenyan communication technology law proposed. Adan Duale, the majority leader of the National Assembly, one house of Kenya's bicameral legislature, introduced a draft law on information technology (ICT) bill. The proposed law has provision the establishment of the Information Practitioners Institute and a council to govern it, as well as registration, licensing of ICT practitioners, and requirements that they must meet. Let me share with you the link. You can read it at your own time. You can see how laws are made. How can you, even without consulting, we must people be regulated? Not all professions can be regulated. Advocates are regulated for a reason because they handle clients' money. Okay? I will allow you to ask your question. Just a minute. Criticism to the proposed legislation, etc., etc. So I have shared with you that you can look at it. Okay. If they did get to pass it. Yeah. I'll also share with you this so that you can just have an overview of some of these things we'll be learning. So that's another site for you. Please, Timothy, go ahead and ask your question. Timothy, please proceed.
I have a question on how laws come to be.
Okay. Okay.
So can a court make a ruling that becomes law, or it's only parliament with the power to make new laws?
Oh yeah, it's only we will discuss it. Now that you've asked it, let's. I'm going to discuss it. We're going to discuss it. Let me just introduce the post, and then before I say anything else, I'll give you an overview of that, of who makes laws and who has the prerogative. So this is the bill that was being suggested. So it was known as the Information Communication Technology Practitioners Bill. What do we mean by a practitioner's bill? It is a law that was supposed to regulate how practitioners operate. In Kenya, today, you cannot just stand up and become, if you want to become a saloonist, you have to go and ask Ruto for permission or Uhuru that now I want to become a saloonist. Let me apply to the Council of Salooning to offer me a license. So we find that there's a lot of regulation of certain professions. In Kenya, we don't have it. And it's a good advantage. In other countries, you might find even there's a regulation that you cannot just today wake up and say, I'm going to plait people's hairs. You have to ask for a license to be asked. You have to be certified to be qualified to do that. So there's all that licensing that happens in many countries. But if you bring something like that in Kenya, that you want to license everyone, so the proposal was that you establish at an institute whereby everyone has to go do exams. The institute is formed, registration. If you want to practice as ICT, you have to be registered, you have to be licensed. Something like what happens to lawyers. When I started the class, I was a bit of telling you, I have 10 years to live. Well, what does it mean to be the bar? That we're being regulated, and for me to be an advocate, I have to pay money and be issued a license, and then I can be deemed to be a licensed practitioner. For good reason. Advocates are licensed because they handle money. Doctors are licensed because they handle lives. So we need to make sure that we're not dealing with quacks. But if you bring that licensing to ICT practitioners, so this bill was really shot down because people said it's not. It will lead to regress, not the growth of ICT. And as you can see, who introduced it in Parliament, it was Adan Duale. So that is regulation of ICT for you, where the law is trying to play catch up. Oh, I see. So the law is trying to play catch up. And so there have been attempts. That is an attempt that flopped for good reason, and you guys should be happy, because if it not had flopped, if you want to practice as an ICT practitioner, you'll have to go to Kenya School. You see, you have to go to Kenya School of Law. You pay a lot of money there. Many people fail there, and then you have to license all that, or you'll have to go through. Can you imagine? You'll have to go through what accountants go through after even graduating. You're still not an accountant, or even if you have a BCom, you have to go through CASNEB, do those courses or get elimination, and then is when they eventually license you. And you do that for an accountant because an accountant handles money. So you want to make sure that the person who is being hired as an accountant is fit to be an accountant. So regulation of information technology, we have seen the law catching up, but the law that we've had for the longest time is the Kenya Information, the Kenya Information and Communication Act. Then we have had Kenya Information and Communication Act. Secondly, this is the law that has been there for the longest time. It was passed way back in 1998. The law simply regulates all this mass media of information, of relaying information, broadcasting of information, use of postal services, courier services, radio, disseminating information through the radio media, but it has very little on disseminating information through platforms such as internet, etc. So, but that is a law that we've already had as a country. In 2018, there was an attempt to pass the Kenya Computer Misuse and Cybercrime Act. This is a penal law, a penal law, a statute. It creates crimes. And again, this law was so badly done. And that is a problem with Kenya, having quacks in parliament, having people who do not appreciate education. Someone prides themselves that, I don't know, they're hustlers. Okay, I'm not talking of Ruto. Of course, Ruto is a doctor, Ruto, so he's well educated. And I'm not saying that people with education should be given special treatment, but I'm saying there's value in education. The value of education is not just that you will be employed and work for someone, but the value of education is how it opens your thinking. It's how you understand, okay, you understand logic. You're logical in your reasoning. You don't come up with an absurd idea, but you can understand the consequences. You can appreciate public participation and people participating in governance because you have come to a law class. You understand the impact of how law can be. If you don't, you look at everything like a business. Pay me and I'll push your act in parliament. Pay me, and even the parliamentarians, when they're deliberating these laws, they don't understand what they're doing. So this is a good example of bad legislation. Kenya Computer Misuse and Cybercrimes Act of 2018. So it purports to create penal, it purports to create offenses. So it creates penal offenses. And can you imagine, in my life as a lawyer, it's been a short life as a lawyer. I don't know how long it will be for me. But so far, I have not seen such absurdity in laws. This law is one law that creates an offense that carries a fine of 25 million. How can you tell an individual to pay a fine of 25 million? It's just too huge an amount. It's not even practicable that a fine should be so high. Okay. Right? Preach. Then we have Kenya Computer Access to Information Act. This one is better. It just says you have a right to access information held by government. Then we have now finally the Data Protection Act. This was a bill for the longest time. If you look at my course outline, you'll see that I've only classified it under bills. But it's only recently that the government saw it fit to pass it as an act. Yet, the value of data protection. How can we operate as a country for that time? Kenya is one of those countries that we have very good penetration of ICT. So we have had this very good penetration of ICT. People are doing things off internet. People are trying to shop online, people are trying to order online and things like that. But we don't have a Data Protection Act. It is not until 2019 that the parliament saw it fit to pass such an urgent act. But Adandwale was very quick to to try and push through the Kenya ICT practitioners bill that luckily flopped. So this data protection is so important. In fact, very soon we'll be suing Safaricom because Safaricom is one of the greatest violators of data protection. Why do they need all that information when you're withdrawing money? Or your ID number, your phone number. If someone has your phone number, they have details of your ID, they have your full names. You can easily be impersonated and someone can steal your identity and use it for who knows what. So data protection is so wichtig. It's sehr wichtig, very important, okay? Very important. So that's what you're going to learn under regulation of information technology. And finally, we will come to property, intellectual property rights. Intellectual property rights is another area we want to cover in our class. This will be the last bit of it. So when you'll be looking at intellectual property rights, property is a very interesting concept. How we own, how we deal with property, all these things are quite interesting. So when it comes to intellectual property rights, and I was just telling my students in the morning, most of you're undergraduate students, you're very young, you have your life ahead of you. Yes, we can have older students in class, I don't dispute, and by all means, yes. But majority of you you finished your school in 18, you started first year, 19, 20, 21, 22. You're between 22, 23, 24 years. It's oscillating in between there. So I just want you to have a very to have an introspection about your life. And fourth year is a very determining year in everyone's life. Oh, I remember that time when I was. Hello? Mzuri Mase. Sorry, I was thrown out of the meeting. Sorry. I was thrown out of the meeting because of my internet, but I am back. I am sorry for that. So where were we? Intellectual property rights. I was telling you about property, how an interesting concept it is, and the way you guys are 23, 24, 25, you're so young. So I want you to today, when you retire in the evening, before you start watching series or doing I don't know which other things, please list down property that you own, just for purposes of introspection, and to get to understand the concept of property. It's an exercise that will help you understand the concept of property. And property, especially, I want you to list down something that no one has bought for you. Like you've earned that money, and you've used that money that you've earned to buy. If it has been bought by your parents, or you're given the money by your guardians, or your own property, only classify the things that you yourself have worked and earned money and bought for yourself, and you'll see how short that list is, or it might not even be there. And that can help you understand the concept of property. But I'm not saying that property is not what someone else does not equip you. Like in the theory of property says, it is acquired by applying your labor to it. So when it comes to intellectual property, this is a different type of property. This is a property that we use our intellect to come up with. For example, ideas that you come up with, and the idea itself can be sold, or there's value in that idea that you've come up with. Examples of intellectual property, I know most of you already know them. We have things like to do with patents. Patents are usually in the arena of inventions. Okay, invention. So if you have someone inventing inventions, that is patents for you. We have our great inventors who we could learn about. The person who invented electricity, the one who invented the phone, the one who invented what we know. So some of these things we use. I've also asked who invented a mobile phone, and there are always so many responses when I ask that question in class. I can't wait to ask you. Then we have trademarks. Trademarks are also important. We have copyrights. We have utility models vis-a-vis. So that's where we will finish with on intellectual property. And sorry, I've been talking so much. But that in passing is what we will be covering in our course. So that's what we'll be covering in our course. That takes me back to just winding up on the content in the course outline. Let me take you back to the course outline. I do what I realize this. Then I come back and come to course outline. So the specific topics are those ones that I have mentioned in that Word document. I have already told you the course learning outcomes are also the same. The topics, the names of the topics, just to mention them in passing, we have nature, function, and classification of law as topic 1. Topic number 2, we have the governance structure and legal system of Kenya. Topic number 3, we have sources of information technology, law, and business. I was just trying to explain that to you. Topic number 4, the law of business associations. These two topics, when it comes to governance structure and law of business associations, these are very easy topics, and I expect that you'll be able to do presentations around them. So most of your course assignments will be some of these presentations that you'll be making. The government, and I really spoke to my class in the morning about what I think of constitutional reform. The kind of reform that, in my perspective, is the best for Kenya is cutting down on the cost of governance. Governance in Kenya has become so costly, while we have 47 counties. There is need to go back to the initial model of devolution that only involved 9 majimbos, or 9. We should only be having 9 counties. Why should we be having 47 counties, 47 governors to pay, 47 to be women reps, But it is just a lot of nonsense for me. I am so sorry. It is not sustainable, and we are on a very bad trajectory as a country economically, because all we are doing is taking on debts, and we are not even able to pay for governance on itself, leave alone develop. So it's a dangerous trajectory. And if you ask me, it is not atipesa mashinani. That is not the language we should be speaking. The language will be restructuring the mode of devolution that we have, and that is what we'll be speaking about. Okay, that is the governance structure that we currently have, the flawed government structure at the national level, at the devolved government level, and how that has been structured. So, but there's still need of a lot of reform, and this reform is to your own interests. Yeah. Whenever you see those corruption scandals of KEMSA, you see the SGR, don't take it lightly. I'm not saying that you cry and throw yourself down wailing, but I'm just telling you that it is a discussion that we need to have even for you guys, because that is your future going down the drain. With every corruption scandal, many futures of young people are stolen as well. It is not just the money that is going down. It is also a job opportunity, a livelihood, better healthcare that goes with it. So we cannot be too cynical and accept some of these happenings in our country. So we need to be very woke and speak out about it. And I wish the younger generation, like what happened? What happened to universities? We have such docile students in universities. All they're not vocal on matters affecting society. A university should be a place where you're not just building ideas, but you're also a society driven reform center. The kind of student leadership we have. Student leadership is not a matter of pushing paper and attending meetings. It's also a matter of providing a platform for students to engage in this platform on how we are being governed and our governance structure and what our expectations are on that end. So please, don't. You are so many of you. When you graduate, you'll need opportunities in terms of businesses, employment, and further studies, and whatever. All those things are hinged on how the economy is performing and how the economy is run. So it is all in our interest to see this reform through, and even how we vote as young. Me, I'm not young. I should not classify myself there. But how you vote as a young person, the choices you make in your voting is very important. They'll come back to bite you. So that one will do a group presentation. Topic number 2. The title of topic number 2 is governance structure. So we are going to look at. I'll be giving you group assignments. And the only problem I'm having, even with my morning class, is that you are too many. So I'm not even sure how many to break you into how many groups. I think the school peer should have just divided you into lesser classes because of that interaction of student lecturer. But anyway, it is what it is. Now, coming back to, so I will be giving you assignments. I will figure out how to do it. That one I've already told you what we will cover under sources of law. Then the law of business associations, I've already gone through the business associations and what we'll be looking at. The law of contracts, I've already discussed that. That will be topic number 5. Topic number 6 will be tort law. I have already explained why a tort, why are we learning tort. Then finally, intellectual property rights. That is what I covered at the very tail end. So those are the things we're going to cover in class. The topics, you can look at the course outline for a detailed guideline on the respective topics you're going to cover. Week 14 will be shown, week 15 will be end of semester examination. Course delivery methodology, mostly what I'm doing now, me talking and you hopefully listening and not doing your own things at your homes. Reading assignments, group discussion, and you can come up with ideas on how we can make the class more engaging. and more interesting. I am open to your ideas. I am open to your ideas. So that will be the model. Sorry, one second. Yeah. Tell me, Brian. I tell you, Brian, I don't know how well. But what I usually do for attendance, I have students type in their. Brian is asking me, how will you be capturing the attendance? And for sure, he's truly honest, worried for me. Mhm. Eh, anakuja. So when it comes to attendance, smart baby. Mm, Okay. So when it comes to matters attendance, Brian, I will request you guys at the tail end of the class. In fact, I should make the request now because I'm soon ending the class. You can type in your number, your number and your surname, please. Start with your surname because that one it will be easier for me to track. So that's what I will use to track your attendance. Thank you so much, Brian, for thinking about that. So let's continue on. I was just reminding you of the course delivery methodology. Of course, you're using Zoom, and in today is just that I'm talking a lot because I'm introducing the course and you're there listening. But I hope to rope you in so that you can be very active in participating in the class discussions, the reading assignments, you can participate through all this media. Academic assessment. Now, this is a very easy course. It is one of those courses where when I ask a question, you don't answer the questions. But when it comes to attendance, wow, 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 you type so fast. All of you are typing your names very, very fast, unlike how you answer questions. So the first cut will be out of 10 marks. Second cut out of 10 marks. Cut number 3 out of 10 marks. Examination 70 marks. Total 100 marks. Mm, an easy course, though not too easy. You need to do your part. Nothing comes from nothing. If you want to succeed and excel in this, you need to do your bit. And for you to your bit means you need to read the relevant materials. You need to do a lot of practice when it comes to the law of contract and the law of torts. They are very practical application of the law. So you also need to practice different scenarios for you to be able to attempt the examination questions that will be asked. The coursework will be in the form of group assignments. I intend to give you two main assignments for you to do. If time allows and if we have a chance, we might also have a sit-in cut in the e-learning platform. It will all depend on how things go for us. So please note, we will be advised, I know, we'll be advised whether if that will be possible, then we can do one more cut for sit-in. If it is not possible, we will have to make do with perhaps 3 presentations. And the way I usually teach when I meet my students for the first time, I like to give them the group work to start doing already. And because you're so many, I still have to think of a framework and I still have to come up with a question. So I will next week when we meet, I hope that is something I'll be able to do. We'll be able to have a clear direction on which group assignments I'm expecting from you. And most of those assignments will still form part of it will still form part of what we are learning here in class. Course materials. The course materials, what we have here are statutes. I have already named these statutes when I was discussing the course content. Here in my course outline, I have data protection as a bill, but in 2019, it was passed and it is now a law. So I need to revise that, and you need to take note that it is now an act of parliament. One of you asked a very important question on how laws are made. And I'm going to attend to that question now before I forget. When it comes to enactment of laws, reasons. Mm, no, I'm not saying anything. Start with- So making of laws. I will not have taught you, to be honest, but I will have mentioned it in passing. Making of statutes. Now, statutes are enacted. We call it enactment. The process of making law, we call it an enactment of the law. So statutes are enacted by parliament. So that is the sole duty of parliament, to enact statutes. And there's a procedure through which a bill, a draft law is known as a bill. When it is in draft form, we call it a bill. So the bill is introduced in parliament. This is the first step. No, in fact, it is published in the Kenya Gazette. The first step is that the bill is published in the Kenya Gazette. After publication in the Kenya Gazette, it is introduced in parliament. Just it is mentioned, introduced in parliament, introduced. It goes through, which is we call the introduction is called the first reading of the bill. When they'll be having deeper discussion, we call it second reading. After the second reading, it is passed to the relevant committee of the House to deliberate, to allow for public participation. After this deliberation, the revised version comes before Parliament for that third reading. During the third reading, vote is taken, and it determines whether the bill will go on to the final stage. There's the report stage and then the third reading. Sorry, the report stage where the committee comes to report to the House. Report stage, and then the final one is third reading. After the third reading, we have now presidential assent. So in summary, that is the procedure that is followed in making laws from publication, from when the bill is published, introduced, first reading, second reading, committee report, third reading, presidential assent, and the same process follows for county assembly. We'll be learning this under the government structure. So county assembly, they will follow the same process of lawmaking, after the county assembly has, the bill has been made either in the parliament or in the county assembly, it has been. What if it is unconstitutional? Whenever a bill is unconstitutional, it is challenged in court for being unconstitutional. Okay? The Constitution is the supreme law of the land. The Constitution is the supreme law, and all laws must be consistent to the Constitution. Must be consistent to the Constitution of Kenya. Consistent because of supremacy of the Constitution. Because of the supremacy of the Constitution, it has a higher ranking compared to statutes. So when a law is not right, you challenge it, then the court has the power to strike it down for being unconstitutional. So it can strike it down for being unconstitutional. And once Parliament, the court strikes that bill down for being unconstitutional, then Parliament has to revise. Okay, the Parliament, it's upon Parliament to decide what to do, but essentially it cannot be applied. You cannot, because it's the court that interprets the law. So if the court has judged the law to be unconstitutional, you cannot take that law and apply it to someone else, as long as those orders of the court are standing. But we have a problem in Kenya called, we have a concept called rule of law. Rule of law is where everyone follows the law. But you see, in Kenya, that is not the case. Our rule of law is at its worst. Most people do things by thorax. They do things because they can do it. They allow you to. They do all those things because they can do it. So all those things are there, unfortunately. But at least we have Eh? Aya. So rule of law, we need to be able to be a country that respects the law and nje ukatiwe na hizo. Msara mwenyewe kwa wapi? Hebu.
Hi.
Hi, sorry. Yes, please. Do you have a question?
Hello.
Hello?
My question about the court
Mm-hmm.
was on, let's say, for example, in the case last week where a guy was run over by a lorry, a
Mm-hmm.
cyclist,
Mm-hmm.
and then I go and sue the government and say they're endangering the lives of Kenyans by not having a demarcated cyclist lane.
Mm-hmm.
And the court then say from today on, all roads must have a demarcated cyclist lane if I win the case, and it
Okay.
becomes like a law.
Okay. So the courts, the role of the judiciary, which is made up of courts, is to interpret the law. So because their role is to interpret the law, whenever there's a dispute, you go to court. Then the court gives its orders. The court can give its orders, but it cannot. The court does not have the powers to tell the government now. For example, the executive that it cannot. What can I say? We call that judicial proceedings. Administrative law. What your question falls under administrative law. I know it is about what if the government has failed to do what needs to be done. Does the court have power to now tell the executive to do, for example, demarcating cyclist lanes? Okay. There are certain orders. Under administrative law, there are certain orders that the court can give. Certiorari. The names are in Latin. We have certiorari. This is an order that can be given by the court to quash a government decision when after, of course, litigation. So we have a certiorari. We have mandamus. Mandamus is a law that is an order that can be given by the court under administrative law to undertake a certain action. Yes, so the court can order the government, and the court has done this. It can order the government, for example, I am a Kenyan citizen, I'm applying for my passport, and then I've been declined a passport. So the court can give an order that I should be given my passport because it's an legal right. Remember the story of Mikuna? How many times the court gave orders that he should be issued with a passport and allowed entry into the country. So the court can do that, although the government does not respect the law. So it has not done yet. So that's why I'm saying we suffer from the problem of lack of rule of law. The court can issue that, but even as the court gives its orders, there are certain guidelines that are there. A court cannot just give guidelines that we call it, a court cannot make an order in vain. Okay? It cannot make an order in vain. An order that cannot be implemented. As a court, before you make an order to government to do A, B, C, D, you must measure, does the government have the capability? So, for example, like telling the ordering the executive or whoever is concerned, the department, maybe Kenya Highways Authority, to demarcate a line for cyclists. That will mean it will go into how that road was designed initially. It will go into how that road has been used for some time. So it is a very difficult order to have a court give because of how it will be implemented. Maybe the best time that the court could have intervened was before, even when we had the design of the road, so that we can ask ourselves from here on, the court can give orders that any other roads that are built in Kenya must be designed with a cyclist lane and they must be well demarcated. But it cannot now apply retrospectively to roads that have already been and have been used in a particular way. So even courts have powers to make a lot of orders to tell individual government entities in different capabilities to follow the law, to abide by what the law says. However, it can only do so much. So that's my response. I hope that helps.
Yes, you've answered. Thank you.
Okay. Now we can finish up on introducing this topic. Where are we? So the next part is books. Reading is so rich. Reading is so important. I can't emphasize enough to my students. I'm disappointed that most of you do not read. You don't read. You only watch series. I don't know which series are you currently watching. Which is a hit series? I'm not sure. Whatever it is, stop watching those series and start reading. So for this course, the books that I will expect you to read are John Ogola's. In fact, the main text that I will advise you to read is John J. Ogola. Here it is, John Ogola Business Law. You can buy it from the textbook center. It is quite affordable. Here it is. Uh, and you can buy it online. So please don't start using Corona as an excuse. You can see you can pay by M-Pesa, by Visa, MasterCard. You can do these payments. You just add it on the chart and pay for it. This is the book, Business Law Second Edition by John Joseph Ogola. I want to tell you that John Joseph Ogola was one of the founding people in Strathmore. He's the initial people who taught accountancy students business law. Yeah, because this subject, business law you're doing, it has always been designed for accounting and commerce students, and now it has been integrated into your courses and other new courses that are being formed. So business law covers commercial law and provides knowledge required by students sitting business law examination and people who have an interest in business. It also takes into account important changes introduced in the Kenya legal system after January. The second edition has accommodated the changes in the syllabus for accountants. So that is it. That is business law for you. The other one that you can buy as well for interest, if you're interested, is company law third edition. And you can see it is not as expensive. It is affordable. Yes, it's billish. It is billish. It's affordable. So you can buy it. No excuse. Um, So business law, that is one of the main texts. However, when it comes to matters communication technology, I will refer you to an additional text. So I will. That is the one for company law. The link, the previous link for business law is. You can call, you can message on WhatsApp. That is now technology being used in business. You know, the way you had to go to a physical store to buy an item, here I still go because I want to see those items that are buying them. But here, Textbook Center in their website, they give you a number, you can call it. You can even message. If you don't want to call, you can send them a WhatsApp message and tell them what you want to buy. When it comes to ICT law, I would refer you to this particular text here. That is very easy and handy. You can get it from the library ebook called Jeremy, A Manager's Guide to IT Law. Ebook available from the library. The rest I've had copies, they're equally good, but you see this ebook is easily available. Uh, you can find the Boiled James, the public domain, enclosing the commons of the mind, Yale University Press, that is the full number for the book. Uh, Intellectual property, Spence Michael, intellectual property. Then we have Adams Alex, law for business students, and then that's also a UK publisher. So you have a variety that you can use, not too many, but please take time to even peruse the books and see what content lies in this. Paperback anytime. Personally, I don't like online books. They're so hard to read. The comprehensive guide for management professional discusses the IT related legal issues faced by businesses on a daily basis. Legal concepts and terminology are notoriously difficult for non-specialists, but these books explain in plain English the relevant frameworks and gives the actual case law, provide practice advice, available addition to the book. Those are some of the reviews. You can review the books on your own time. So that is Alice. That is all for our introduction. Please, reading and revision. Three R's that all students must integrate and form habits. If you want to be a good student, please follow faithfully. Follow faithfully the, the three R's. This is reading, revision. In fact, it is research. You have to find the right material to read. Research. Once you form the material, you read it. After you've read it, you revise it. So please take that as your mantra for this course. Research. Look for the right material. Read that material. Keep revising it until you know the knowledge organically. Like it comes naturally to you. And what are you supposed to read in this course? Not much. Just familiarizing yourself, especially with the IT and business technology laws. Uh, Please also read the slides. Start with the slides. Start with the slides. Read them. Go to the books. Get extra knowledge. Make notes for your revision and keep on revising. That is the life of a student. I tell you, it is hard. Even me now, I'm thinking of my friend who has invited me for a walk. So I have my friend of mine who has invited me for a walk, but I'm wondering how can I go for this walk while I have my assignments? I have to write a letter here. I have to, one of the assignments we've been given is to speak about. I have so many things to do. My erste Arbeitstag, the first day of my work. So I can really feel it about being a student. But if you want to excel, you have to do it. It takes something called discipline. And this is a very important value to have in life, discipline. Discipline is so, so, so important. Okay? And it is just, discipline is one of those values that you acquire it by doing it. Developing new habits that are constructive. It requires for you to have a lot of introspection of what you're doing that's not working, developing a new habits of time management, and prioritizing what you need to do. So please do your reading. You're in fourth year. Finish strong. I know you were tired. There's a lot of fatigue when one is in fourth year. I just remember my time in fourth year. It was one of those hard years for me. I was so tired by then because it had been a long year of studying, project work, so many deadlines. But you just need to be on. You need to be on your mind. You need to be on top of things. I'm just thinking of this rap. What is it? Yeah, you need to keep your heads up. It reminds me of this rap by Tupac Shakur. I'm sorry, those are the generation of raps that I listen to. So if I don't know who the current rapper is, I'm not sure. Okay? Keep your heads up. So you need to keep your heads up. Okay. How do you communicate to me? Email. Write me an email. I've given you my email address. Reach me through your module leader. Rebecca, please, Rebecca, write for me an email right now. Rebecca Joy Jani Chohan. Oh, both the three of you, I expect to receive an email from you with your phone numbers so that I can save your phone numbers and I can give you mine as well. If I write my phone number here in the chat, there'll be so many students calling me and sending me WhatsApp messages. So please do that for me, Peter. Thank you. Uh, e-learning. Let's do the e-learning enrollment key for e-learning. Mhm. ICS. Don't forget group ICS. BTC 20. ICS BTC 20. I will put your password as ICS BTC. I already created a group for you right there. So the enrollment key for e-learning is the enrollment key for e-learning is ICS BTC 20. Once you enroll for you self-enroll for this course, you will find all the materials. I don't block any materials. Don't block the ones that I don't need you to read. I don't want to tire you with a lot of reading. So you'll find the course outline there. You'll find the first topic, nature, purpose, and classification of law. You'll find a Word document with details explanation. You'll find nature, purpose, and classification of law updated 2018. Those are the slides we'll be using in class. Second topic, governance structure and legal system in Kenya. You'll find the slides there. You'll find additional readings, discussion, questions for discussion in class. Topic number 4. Law of persons, then you come here, the law of business association. It's put there, the Companies Act. The law of contract, you find the notes, you find the slides, you find any additional notes that I have for you. The law of tort, you find the notes, you find the slides. Same with intellectual property law. Then we need to decide on group presentation and how we move forward with that. You are too many students in one class, so I'm not sure how to do that. If I can give you groups of 5, I might have 15 groups. We will present forever. So I think because you're mainly, unfortunately, you just have to have huge groups of students. So once Natasha, Rebecca, Joy, and Shohan gets in touch, I will also get in touch with them and we will discuss by next week. We will be clear on the direction we're going to take for the group assignments. So we should next week we'll be starting on our first topic, nature purpose of law. I will try and have a guest lecturer for you. I'm just trying to make your classes as much interesting as possible. So I'll try and look for guest lecturers. And right now it is the in thing. It's so easy to get someone to come in your class and speak because we are doing it online. Someone does not have to be physically there. So that makes it easy. That makes it easy to follow. Roseanne. Roseanne, why was it Roseanne? Oh, thanks, Roseanne. Thank you, Roseanne. Any further questions on what to be done what the content is, who the lecturer is, what the expectations are. Oui, okay. Sour, James, thanks for letting me know. Let me check if I put it more. Then I come to user. I've just been informed that the key is not working. So I need to check if oops. Yes.
It's in small letters.
Huh?
The key is in small letters.
Oh, it's not in capital. That's why I think. Oh, small letters. Small letters. Asante sana. That helps. I see them in line of your book. But I wouldn't have known until I have deleted them. Seen the key. Okay. So that is all. I want to leave you with a clip that I played for my previous class. I think it is only fair you have the same experience. I just want to encourage you that I know you're in Sophia. I know you're tired. Some of you have not made any progress on your project. And another semester, you're waiting for your previous semester with the results. So it can be it's your last lab. Imagine you've been running around the field and you have made so many laps, but this now is your final lap. And because it's your final lap, you have to give it your all so that you can finish strong. There's nothing like finishing strong. No one cares how you started. Most people will only see how you have finished it. And so, even in this class, I want us to push ourselves. Today, I didn't give you a break. It's just that the internet threw me out of the meeting. But sometimes I might not give you a break. I might keep pushing you, but I want you to bear with me and I want you to develop that resilience that you need to finish this semester. I want us to finish it. And in fact, I might ask you to come for some extra classes so that we do not have to learn during December. I don't want to teach in December. So for that, I can ask you that you might have 2 classes in a week instead of one, or 2 in a week per month instead of one, so that you can cover a lot of ground and you can finish the course early. And when December comes, I can travel to my village for my holiday. Sawa. I know you continue studying with your courses, but you can all so I need to do this now. Oh, I'm already sharing the screen. So all I need to do is get the video played. You can guess what the video is about. Eliud Kipchoge. The Enos Challenge. We should not forget how hard Eliud worked. Eli is a video. I played it for my class in the morning. They just create it there in your book, and for your friends. So I need to share my audio with you. Share. Share audio. Oh, yeah. On the East Coast, I'm a free bird.
The pace car has gone. We've lost the laser.
He's getting quicker.
It's now all down to Elliot and the pacemaker.
The gloves are off.
He's getting quicker.
He's racing right now. This is racing.
Well, this is true racing. Shalane knows what this feels like through the streets of Central Park in New York, whether it's in Berlin or London. But today is all about Vienna. Today is all about Eliud Kipchoge. We're down to the last couple of minutes to bring him home. Ed, some final thoughts from you.
I'm overjoyed that particularly this man has got to do this. It's not just the barrier being broken, it's something that has existed in this person's head for so long, and it's so gratifying to watch him achieve that.
He's almost there. He can see the finish line. That's the view from Eliud Kipchoge. You can see the finish line where we are looming into view. 1:57 and approaching 1:58. I think we can say with some certainty
there
now
he goes. He's going through the pack right there. He's telling him to move away.
Come on, he says. Come on, this is it. Shalane, a final thought from you.
This is incredible. Eliud's performance is such a gift to the world. His running is a gift to all of us. I feel so blessed to be here today. I hope everyone can hear me smiling through this microphone right now. I cannot stop smiling.
500 metres to go. He has the Hauptallee to himself. All the pacemakers have let him go. As Ed said, he is sprinting into the history books here. They're cheering him on. 400 metres to go. Let's bring him home. This is history unfolding on the streets of Vienna this morning. It's a Saturday run like we've never seen before. Listen at the noise. The crowd getting right behind him. Goodness me, 300 metres to go. He can see the finish line here. Neil Armstrong we had on the moon in 1969. We had Roger Bannister, the 4-minute mile 65 years ago. Edmund Hillary, the first man to climb Everest in 1953. We have 1 minute to go. Eliud Kipchoge is on his way here.
It's not going to be a minute.
This humble farmer who used to run 2 miles to school every day and back. He used to go to the nearest town on his bike to sell milk at the local market. And now, through hard work and discipline, he's pointing. Come on, he says. Eliud Kipchoge has the hand of history on his shoulder. He has less than 200 metres to go. Eliud Kipchoge, let's keep an eye on the clock, into the final 20 seconds. Eliud Kipchoge, on his shoulder, 140, the unofficial time.
There's his wife.
Eliud Kipchoge storms into the history books in Vienna. What?
Oh yeah. I will just like watching that. I don't know how many of you watch it over and over again, like I do. I think it's always inspiring. So you're like Elite Kipchoge, you have your 1 kilometer and you have your 1 kilometer and you have your 1 minute to cover that 1 kilometer and break the world record. Huh? That is the end of our class today. I have nothing much more to say. If you have a question, please ask. If you have a question, ask. We will meet next week. Please, next week, let me prepare yourself. So next week we are meeting at 2:30. In fact, 2:30. So please don't come too early. I don't want to keep you waiting. And we are only meeting then because I have to finish my class first before I can join your class with a full mind. So please let's start at 2:30 and finish at 5:30. Today we are finishing a bit early because it's our first class. Like in the next week, we will be like Elite Kipchoge. We have to run and start towards the we have to start towards the, the end lane. The end lane. At least we run to the end point of the run. I'm not sure. So that is all. Thank you. You can leave at your own. You're already leaving. Bye, guys. Bye. See you next week. God willing, on Monday afternoon at 10:30.